All right. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Let's see. This one, let's tweak this. Where did the chats go? How's it going? Good afternoon, good day. GDJ Sky 01 Jeff, how's it going, my friend? And Bear as well over on Discord. Nice to see you folks. Let me just shuffle a few of these to where I can see them. How's it going, Michael Pocusa as well? Nice to see you, my friend. Hi from Los Angeles. Nice. Los Angeles probably, I don't know what the weather is like there, but I'm guessing a little bit warmer where I am at currently. It's about 30 degrees and snowing, but not like heavily snowing, thankfully, which is nice. How's it going, Justin? Let's do quick introductions. So hello, good day to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I have got a cat attacking my foot. Welcome to the deep dive. My name on top of me here. All right, as I try to appease the cat while I do the intro. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. This is the deep dive, which is a weekly live stream. Sometimes it is with me, other times it is with Scott. Scott's the lead developer of CircuitPython, which is a good chance to take a quick step back for anybody that might be new catching this for the first time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, CircuitPython, you can learn more for the at the main website for the project right here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. These devices typically will plug into your real computer, your big computer, your regular desktop or laptop computer with a USB cable. They show up like a thumb drive. You edit a Python code file on that thumb drive, and then when you save it, the microcontroller, the actual computer that is inside these little chips on the devices here, will execute your Python code for you. It can interface with all sorts of extra hardware peripherals as long as you connect them. And what you'll find is that of the 468 devices that currently support CircuitPython, there are loads and loads and loads of different shapes and sizes and capabilities with different pieces of built-in hardware. Some have just bare bones with pins, others have screens and Wi-Fi and touch screens. Others are like entire gaming handhelds, so there's all sorts of different form factors of these things. The common thread amongst these 468 of them is that they can all run CircuitPython. CircuitPython is an open source project, but it's primarily funded by Adafruit. If you would like to help support CircuitPython and those of us that work on it, you can do so by purchasing hardware from Adafruit. They are a hardware and software company based out of New York. They design and manufacture not only the microcontrollers themselves, but they also design and manufacture different add-ons and things for your microcontrollers. So stuff that you can plug in order to achieve other stuff, sensors, beacons, buttons, beepers, buzzers, levers, switches, any kind of little light up widget or doodad that you could imagine really that you can connect to an electronic circuit. You can probably find that thing, whatever it is, over at Adafruit. So head over there, get yourself some toys. Thank you to everybody who shops at Adafruit. And thank you, of course, to Adafruit for making CircuitPython possible and for paying the team who works on CircuitPython, including Scott and myself and some other folks. So today we're going to take a look at an upcoming kind of like proposal for a way to refactor the way that the network management works. Let me catch up on the chat as well. That seems unusual. Deep dive, Adafruit. Oh no, what did I do? Did I mess up the YouTube thing? Timely project, I've been working on this. Sunny, I hope. Scott's, I believe, out of town for the week, but definitely Scott's, in all of our thoughts and everything for sure. Let me check. I feel like I have messed up the YouTube thing. Let me go try to figure out what I did. How did you find that? Can you link me to that or something? I only see one. Oh no, I do see the second one actually. Deep dive. Okay, I've never done this live, so I don't know what's about to happen. If we lose folks, I'm sorry. Try refreshing. If you're on YouTube especially, you might get lost. There's potentially 2 YouTube links, so if what I am about to do cuts you off, maybe try looking for the other link. If we have somebody in the chat on Discord in just a moment who's watching YouTube and it keeps working, drop the link to the one you're using, and then other folks can maybe switch over to that one, because I don't think I'm really meant to be on 2. I'm not sure for sure if that's going to fix it, but I'm going to click this right here. That's going to do a thing potentially. And hopefully we're going to not be on 2 anymore, but I don't actually know. Okay, there's only 1 listed here now, which is nice. Test. Yeah, Jeff, thanks for, I do see your messages here in the YouTube chat. I don't know if that was a test for me. They aren't showing up on the screen though, are they? Oh yeah, they are, but it's scrolled down too far. All right, one problem at a time. Okay. I think we're down to 1. So for anybody, yeah, if you were on YouTube and you got kicked off, then you might not be able to hear me right now. Hopefully you will have heard the last bit there to click over to the other link. The link that is live now, if you're on YouTube and you can still hear me and see me, then you should be good to go. That's the link we're going to do. I'll probably try to figure out how to get rid of the VOD on the other one if there was. YouTube just watched, refreshing. Try the other link. Here, let me get the other link. Where's the primary feed? It should be here. Wherever you're chatting should be the primary feed. Because that's the one where I can see the chat. Okay. Yeah. I messed it up when I started it today, turns out. Thanks for the heads up on that. I didn't catch who threw that in first, but yeah, that's totally right. There should not have been 2, and I appreciate the heads up there to get that fixed. Okay. Okay. So, jumping into today's topic, the connection manager. So Justin, who's in the chat, huge hug report goes out to Justin, who has done a bunch of work on this. For folks that don't know about the weekly meetings, we do weekly meetings on Monday. Justin popped up a couple of weeks ago with some ideas about simplifying the way that the network connections work within CircuitPython, like how it gets managed, the sockets, because there's a limited number of sockets that are available. We'll get into a bit more of the particulars as we dive into the code, but Justin popped in, had some ideas for this, came into a meeting a couple of weeks back, talked about it in the weeds. We got some good discussion going on, and there are now a new proposed library, ConnectionManager library, and then there are a couple of PRs, draft PRs that are open inside of requests. Right here is one, and mini MQTT is the other one. So we're just going to take a look at that and try it out. I haven't had a chance to look at any of this stuff yet. I was there for the discussion. I kind of am aware of what it does, but I have not looked at any of the code. I have not tried anything yet. So this is kind of my first take on that stuff. I meant to grab a USB cable before I started. I totally failed to do so. Let me do that right now. BRB. Okay. Let me unplug this. We don't need that one. I'll get the camera going here as well. Nothing like seeing a typo in your pull request. Yeah, no worries about that. I am notoriously bad with spelling and grammar and everything like that. So I'm the last person who will ever judge typos or anything. Let's get the camera going here. I have a couple of things we can test it on if I understand everything correctly, which is possible that I don't at this point. But if I do, my understanding is this makes it to where we can use this in two ways. We can use this either on the ESP32 SPI or through the native networking, and then potentially ultimately through the Ethernet Featherwing, which is like WizNet 5K. They call that one, I think. I don't know if that one is there just yet, or if that's a separate PR in that library or whatever. Right now, what I have, though, is not that. I have an ESP32 S3. Technically, I have a QtPi, if anyone's interested in the exact hardware. QtPi S3, which does not come up with S3. QtPi S3 there. I don't know if it has PSRAM or not, but it probably does. I don't know. QtPi S3. I also have a Pi portal here, which we will be able to do the ESP32 SPI stuff. So for folks that don't know, the Pi portals use ESP32 SPI, or it's sometimes called airlift, which means the main processor, the main CircuitPython device, talks back and forth over SPI with a secondary device, an ESP32. It talks back and forth over SPI, and that ESP32 is responsible for the network, and it just communicates back and forth with the main CPU, whereas on, for instance, that QtPi ESP32 S3, the main chip on this device actually has the Wi-Fi capabilities, so it's not handing off between a coprocessor and doing all that. Just the main chip is doing it. So there's kind of the hardware difference, and then what the software will do is make it so that no matter which one of those two worlds you're writing code for, it can equalize the API so that it will hopefully be as the same as it can be, and then therefore, you know, folks can kind of write their network-related code in one way, and it can work in more than one context if they switch projects around to a different device. How's it going as well? You know, I never did fix the scroll on the YouTube chat. Let me... That's so that we can actually see the latest one. How's it going, Beata, as well as Jeff? Nice to see you folks over on YouTube, as well as Asbjorn. If you're still here, thanks for tuning in, my friend. Hopefully you got the link. Sorry for the troubles on YouTube again. That was all me. I totally just bungled it when I started up the stream today. Interesting. Does this lib allow having more than one open connections? I don't think it will allow any more connections than are possible today. This is mostly about the API for managing the sockets. Correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, or if anybody else happens to know the answer to that. My understanding, though, is that we have a set number of sockets, and that limits how many open connections there can be. This does not change that set number of sockets. What it does is give you a manager object, a layer, a library that will keep track of those sockets for you so that you don't have to micromanage it in your user code, and so that like the libraries like requests and all the others would not have to try to micromanage it there either. That is my understanding. Tried looking up recent changes to soft keyboard. I could not find the JSON file. I believe will accompany it. Yeah, DJ Devin, how's it going? I think I may. I don't know if I pushed the latest one. I will make sure to get it pushed either tonight or tomorrow. If it's not, yeah, I'm not sure the last time I pushed on that one. QtPi ESP3 is an awesome board. Totally agree. Super, super tiny and powerful. I just busted it out recently of the package, but it's super cool. So it'll be a step towards having multiple connections open based on a number, max number of sockets. The number of sockets is limited by lower level. Dev's talking about raising the number of sockets. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's all that kind of stuff is ancillary to this. Although the more sockets we have, you know, the ability to manage them is certainly going to be well appreciated. So I'm just going to clone this, and then we can get it on our device, and we'll just throw the requests one. I'm glad there's not anything ridiculous in this. Should have double checked so that I didn't have like settings or anything like that open. Luckily, we didn't have any passwords or anything, so that's good. All right, we clone that. I'll open it. Let's open it. Also, and then we'll grab the requests. I already have requests cloned, but what I can do is, sorry, what is it called? Connection Manager. We need the C's. Okay. Check out the PR over there on requests. New window. Let's get requests while we're here. So we'll just go. It's probably in in fact, I was gonna say it's probably in recents, but I don't want to look for it. But pretty easy. Let's update. Oh, we're not on main. Fix duplicate header issue. Oh, Justin, also, by the way, I want to look into Connection Manager. For folks that don't know, Justin in the chat is the one who worked on this. I want to look into Connection Manager first here. I know you got to head out a little bit. So I'm going to dive right into Connection Manager first. What I will do, though, is circle back later and hit this other PR as well, since I figure that's not as important for you to be around necessarily, because I'm not anticipating too much coming out of that in the way of feedback. But that's on my radar as well, that PR for requests, the header thing. Duplicated headers. Let's pull this. Let's just get updated here. GHPR listed. Let me see. GHPR checkout 147. That's the one we want to look at. 149 is the other one there. Thanks for clarifying. Higher number of sockets would be useful in HTTP server. Yeah, totally agree. Especially when you want to go with WebSockets or that server-side. Is it server-side events? Yeah, I think so. Thought about trying to run HTTP server on one of these, but unless the use case was a lot of short-lived requests, you're going to be quickly limited by the hardware and software limit. It's good grief if one or more clients hangs on the connection for any length. Now you're 1 out of 4 sockets down. Yeah, that's true. You know, one thing I think would be interesting though is evaluating 10 ESP32 S2s behind Nginx. Like, is that at all efficient as far as web servers go? You could put a VM and an actual server there. At some point, though, I think if you have enough of them, you might be able to actually outperform a big server in terms of power savings and stuff, which would be interesting. I'm fascinated to experiment with microcontrollers behind a load balancer like Nginx. And then you kind of get around the number of sockets by just throwing more hardware at it, right? Each one only has a few sockets, but if you have 10 microcontrollers, then it doesn't matter as much. It might be a totally harebrained idea too. I haven't actually tried it or run any kind of test or anything, so it may work out to be completely useless and good for nothing more than a gag. But I think it's interesting. Nothing else. I intend to give it a try one of these days and do some basic measurements. Thanks, No Rush. Dealing with some personal issues. Nice to watch code again. Giving me a sense of normalcy. Nice. Yeah, I'm happy to provide that. Hope everything works out as best as it can for you and whatever's going on. WebSocket response keeps the socket open. Currently only one. Yeah. Consider using it as proxy type setup with the payload. It redirects you to larger with more resources. Be worried about channel overlap interface. You can only let so many before you get saturated band. Channel overlap. You mean on the Wi-Fi, I guess, probably. You still need an RPi or something like that. Yeah. You'd still have a Raspberry Pi or some kind of. You'd still have some, a Linux computer of some variety with Nginx in front, and then it would balance the traffic between the microcontrollers for you. Okay. Are there any, so does it actually change the examples or anything? Let's go to here. Actually changed with this. Okay, yeah. So for one thing, we want to get requests from this. We will paste over what I had. And then we want to get the examples, which are changed or no? Doesn't look like it actually, or at least not in the PR. All this stuff is draft too, so in no way am I expecting this to be totally final version donezo ready to go or anything like that. So we're taking a first look here, not anything super deep. Okay, so we will grab just simple tests and start there. Which is this one? Nope, this one. or actually the test is in the connection manager. Yeah. Oh, nope, that one's empty. Okay, I think it's on the PR though. One of them has. One thing we should do also is check this out. Wanted to make sure. Let me scroll up here. Yep, RPi. Yep, running Nginx with each node. Been marked as a higher weight limit of 2 connections. That's on my list. I have local code to fix. No, I didn't change the examples yet. Okay, no worries. A LoRa swarm driven by Nginx proxy node. I want to make sure the core was approved first. Yeah, no worries. Not a problem. If and when you're ready to merge it to ConnectionManager, be happy to update HTTP server to use that as well. Nice. Yeah, thank you, Michael. I thought you were talking about making a cluster server with ESP32 S3s. That'd be neat, but it wouldn't outperform. No, yeah, that is what we're talking about. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. So then you'd have, X number of ESP32 S2s or S3s, either one. And then you'd have one Raspberry Pi or any Linux computer, really. That Linux computer would have Nginx. Nginx would distribute that traffic. It would balance the traffic between all the microcontrollers. So a request comes in, it hits the Linux computer, it hits Nginx, and then Nginx forwards it over to a microcontroller, and then the microcontroller responds, and the response gets sent back to the final user or the beginning user. Just read in the Adafruit Daily that MicroPython just added TLS. Oh, that's cool. TLS support for client server. Yeah, that's super sweet. I didn't know that. Here we go. That's what we want. In CodePy. Oh, yeah. I was testing that header thing. Let me keep that. The header thing was actually kind of hard to test. Turns out HTTP servers, all the ones I tried, are very good about parsing the headers into a dictionary, which means that duplicated headers don't bother them. But I guess there must be some out there because it was Spotify or something. Somebody found the API that was not working with it. Okay, so what we have here is code that can do either ESP32 SPI or what I call just native networking, native Wi-Fi. So let's just take a quick scan through. It's going to connect to the network based on what we have in our settings.toml. If it is ESP32, it's going to go that way. If it's native, we're going to go that way. And then, so where does the actual connection manager, how does this come in? So, okay, there we go, SSL context. Connection manager, create fake SSL context. Okay, so in the native API, you would call create default context here, and then this is now analogous. Connection manager says create fake SSL connection. So then in that case, actually, the native Wi-Fi one does not use the connection manager object. Is that true? Let's get what's in this code too. Oh, I need the PR one. Right now we have no code. Yeah, that won't work. Let's go PR. It's the first one, I think, right? GHPR list, check out one. I should have done that first. There we go. Okay, here we go. Does that one have any code? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Actual code. Now we definitely want that on the device. Should have looked at it before I pasted it. Here we go. Someone needs to update the stubs. Let's see here. Okay, TLS, non-performant middle layers. Non-performant middle layers were crash and burn with bad headers. I'm sensing some board stubs bias. I hope the project is yours going well. Otherwise, the connection manager is behind the scenes. Yeah, the stubs thing is super sweet as well. I think I forgot to hug report that. I need to hug report you this week. Got another hug report coming from my way for that boards thing. I need to take another closer look into that as well. I like to circle back to that during a meeting at some point too, to get folks' thoughts on what we think is going to be the best way to get that into the stubs. Like, if we want to build one like top level board.py stubs that contains everything, or if we, like, I think the thing you had makes it per board. It can kind of parse the pin C in its per board, which is cool if you know you're using a certain board and you're kind of like a power user and you want to build stubs for your own board. For kind of general release, though, I'm thinking maybe one giant board stub that contains every possibility. It will look weird because it will show pins that may not exist in your context depending on what your board is, but what it will mean is that every possible pin will be listed. So no matter what board you have, your autocomplete will actually work with your pins now. Unfortunately, the autocomplete for some pins that aren't real will also work, so it could be double-edged sword in that way, but okay. Nice. Yeah, so we're good to go there. That's our native networking, and then if I'm understanding, okay, so yeah, I was going to look in the code too. Full circle. If I'm understanding right, the native one does not really use the manager so much. Is that true? Basically, the manager takes the place of the built-in API of the SSL, basically. That's what it seems like, because that's doing create the fake context, but then that's doing create the default context. Okay. Oh, it does. Otherwise, connection manager behind the scenes, it does. Okay. Let me see connection. Oh, context is this. Duh. Obviously. Okay. So that will create the context. Oh, but that's still not quite the manager, is it? Okay. Request session pool session context. Look at requests. Ah, I gotcha. I'm sitting here trying to be like, how could that be? But yeah, I guess the magic would be inside of requests. I see. Yes. There we go. Okay. So inside of here, requests creates that connection manager and connection manager as a singleton when you initialize, and then from then on, it's going to use that whenever it wants to get sockets. Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's put it through a little bit more of the paces. So we did hit quotes and we got a response. So the basic test is good to go there. Let's do a post, which we could get from request simple test. So then do the examples don't, so the examples, I guess they only need to change if we want to rewrite them with the either or logic. Do I understand it correctly? Like this code, HTTPS circuit Python, this code will actually still work with the new version without anything in here changing. And it will be using the connection manager because request is using it under the hood. Now, if you did want to rewrite this to where it does either or, like your CodePy here, whoops, this isn't it, but this one here, it could be rewritten to where it's got the either or logic, so it can do both. But it's also, I mean, I think this one we would keep targeted at one, because it's kind of like, it's not targeted at a specific device, but it's targeted at the devices with built-in. So in this, for these simple tests, I would try to keep them as small as they can be, if it were me. Yes, okay. So then on the 32 SPI side, those ones will change because those will use the connection manager directly. So like that would be this one. These would change because they would need connection manager in place of the fake. See, in place of, this one's actually doing the context. Place of something in here. I don't know what off the top of my head. Maybe, well, socket probably in some capacity. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like that that stuff doesn't change. Let's get a post for built-in networking, I mean. So we can post this stuff, right? We can basically just redo this whole thing, right? Grab all of this. And put it here. So that should do basically simple test. It hits a couple of things, it posts to one of them, it fetches after it posts to make sure it worked. All right, nice. Okay, so we got test from Adafruit is good, Adafruit server. We got our response from there. We posted. Oh no, actually this is a get. This one's a post. We posted 31F. We received 31F, so we did a get afterwards. That worked. Oh, we actually have 2 posts in here. I didn't know that. Okay, so we post a second time. This one with JSON, and then we fetch again, and we got JSON back. Yeah, that's looking all good. Let me try on the PyPortal side. So that was QtPy ESP32S3. We'll grab this same code and we will load up what I have now, which is a PyPortal. I never did turn on the camera, did I? I said about turning on the camera. I'm a little bit, like a dog and a squirrel kind of sometimes, aren't I? Oh, sneak peek. Super secret project. All right. Nobody saw that. Don't forget to set the right pins. All right. Yeah, thank you. Pins will change to default ones for the PyPortal, which we'll grab from the other simple test. I don't know if it matters, but we could probably go board.spy here. All right, I think we're good there. Do I have settings, Tom? Huh. Not exactly. All right, hold on. Just scoot this over to here. We got to make sure we're not showing it. Yeah, okay. Whoops. Okay, now we have a settings toggle so that this will work. ConnectionManager we need to install. Also, I need to get requests. Like this PR requests. Yeah. Settings not toml. Yeah. I must have wanted to deactivate it for some reason. I don't recall off the top of my head what it was for, but I do that a lot where it's like if I'm trying to delete a file but I want to keep it, I'll just tack not into the name there. Don't really, off the top of my head, I can't really think of why I would have wanted to delete that, but I don't know. We want to paste requests. Let's delete this. Doing web workflow stuff? No, because this doesn't have web workflow. Maybe I was trying to test like what exception gets thrown or something. I don't know. Okay. We also need connection manager. Extract it here. Okay. Now it should at least get past the imports. Got it? Okay. It took a little while. I don't know if that's... It's after connecting. Is it any longer? Okay, tell you what, let's do this. So let's say copy paste this as con manager test. Let's grab simple test. I wonder if I did I not change all the pins? Or maybe maybe I shouldn't have done this. Connect AP cannot connect. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab simple test, we're gonna drop that in code, but we're gonna actually only do the get. So we're just gonna kind of do like a rough eyeball test of, is this any faster or slower? But that part doesn't work, obviously, right? Has no more set socket. We'd have to go back to we'd have to go back to normal requests. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna go open this in files. We are gonna rename requests to, you guessed it, not requests. No, we'll do PR requests actually. Here's requests. Did I not paste it in lib? Paste it in the root, maybe? Oh, is requests frozen? Hold on. Pinch here, paste there, yeah. I'm a very, very, very big copy paster from other stuff for sure. You haven't changed the settings. Let's see. A board with Wi-Fi will auto connect to the last AP. Correct. Yep. Reset your Discord chat view. Oh, wow. Thank you for the heads up. Okay. We need to know if this is frozen in, because if this is frozen in, then we actually do need to be using the root and not lib, which is where I pasted it, but not on purpose. But if it is frozen in, then we do need to do it there on purpose. I don't remember which file this is in, though. It is frozen, okay. I accidentally did the right thing. I'm going to take requests. We're going to paste that in the root. We're going to call it Adafruit request PR. That's the PR version. So for folks that don't know, what I just checked on right here is check in which libraries are frozen into the device. And right here it lists requests as a frozen in library. Now what that means is that on this device, this PyPortal Titano that I'm using, it means requests is built into the image. You don't actually have to copy paste it into lib, and you'll still be able to use it. But in our case, we're trying to test a modified version, right? We're trying to test the one from the PR, which means we need to, tell it somehow not to use the frozen in one. The way that we tell it not to use the frozen in one is by pasting it in the root of CircuitPy instead of in lib, which is where it would normally go. So if you're ever trying to test a library and it's not using your modified version, double check if it's frozen in, and then if it is frozen in, what you want to do is paste your modified one in the root instead of lib. In order to get the stock one, actually we'll just have the stock one because it's frozen in because of exactly what I'm just talking about right now. So we'll just leave that. So what I'll do is now, so this should now be stock, right? Yeah, it is. And the speed is about the same. I forgot to leave in the print. I think we want text. Is it a property or a property? It does seem like the same speed, which is a lot slower than the built-in Wi-Fi, but it is to be expected because of the architecture of like needs the coprocessor, needs to talk back and forth. There it is. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now that we have it this way, what we can do is like we're able to switch our code by choosing to put that PR or not, right? So I can say code connection manager test. I could say requests here with PR like that. And then if I wanted to execute this, I could go import code con manager test. This will now run this one, which is importing request PR. But I did mess it up because line 47 would also need to, well, actually what we need to do is import this as this. That way the rest of the code doesn't need to change. Didn't know that. Thought router files would only override lib. Really good to know for library. Yeah. If you are doing any kind of library work with frozen devices, it could definitely bite you. No module. Huh. I don't know why that printed that. It totally succeeded. Oh, .py. I put like a literal .py. Why did that execute though? Hold on. Why did that execute? That shouldn't work, should it? .py. Oh, .py. So it looked for a submodule. It tried to treat it like a library, or a package or whatever. So it ran the root level. Weird. Okay. Okay. Let's do it correctly. Whoops. Hey, why? What's this? There we go. That is the second accidentally did something that worked thing that we have done so far. There we go. Okay. So both new and old work on the Titano, and they both take about the same amount of time. So it's slower than the built-in Wi-Fi, but it's the same speed as it was before. In terms of like this, using the connection manager doesn't seem to have any effect on the speed. And it does seem to work successfully. We will do let's do the more full test here with the rest of simple test, because this includes posts and everything. Actually, here's what I'm going to do is take this back and put it to code. Then grab that. I was trying to run, yep. Yeah, trying to import like if there would be a Pi submodule. And then because the parent module existed and had code in the root, it's still executed, which made it do kind of what I wanted, but then immediately failed to find the submodule, which it thought I was looking for. No, I wasn't. Okay, so that succeeded on all of these. We got our text from Adafruit server, we got our basic get request response, we got a successful post, a successful get of our data, another successful post of JSON, and then finally a successful get of our JSON data, all successful. And honestly, they go pretty fast. So really the thing that's slow is the connection, because once we got the the whole rest of these go instantly, right? Like there's really, it's not quite instant, I guess. Never mind. Okay. It's pretty fast though. Like the connection definitely takes longer than any request. And we could theoretically, could we cut out the connection code? Let me see. As actually it is connected. Okay, no, we probably can't make that any faster. Okay. That's fine though. Sweet. Let's take a look at the code real quick. Okay, so we got some basic logging action. If you don't have logger, it provides this. That way, the rest of the code can kind of pretend that you do have logger. What is this kind of thing? Interesting. What is the else on this? Is there an else? Oh, there's no else, but there is a bunch of other stuff. Interesting. If implementation name CircuitPython. But I assume this stops it from running on CPython. Common socket protocol. Yeah, these are all type definitions basically. Okay. Common socket, CircuitPython type. Connect, supports receive, has a receive function, supports receive into, has a receive into. Python socket extends all of those. Standard socket has connect. Socket type union. Socket type gets both standard and CircuitPython. Module type, interface. Or fake SSL socket. So this, I believe, maybe moved over to here from ESP32 SPI, or maybe from requests. I'm not sure. This exists somewhere else, I think, before. Create the fake SSL context. ConnectionManager. Key close socket. So this basically keeps track of everything for you. Types are all from original code and request. Okay, nice. So I didn't get my board. Go with link status, WizNet. Got Ethernet Featherwing coming, sounds like. Or Ethernet something. I think there's a breakout one, maybe? I'll have to bust that one out. I haven't messed with that one a little bit. Read the socket, get socket. Basically give it a bunch of information, then it will go and find which socket's available and give it back to you. That's like the meat of it right there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm digging it. Both of those work. Let's test out mini MQTT. That one was here as well. Like, I don't know. I don't tend to have super strong opinions on code necessarily. Some of the other folks on the team are a little more in depth on preferences on code and stuff like that. I don't consider myself really that great at like writing or reviewing quote unquote good code necessarily. But I'm always happy to test. I'm always happy to look over, even if it's not like a thing where a lot of that stuff jumps out to me. So what we want is actually, I'm just going to open mini MQTT because I have it already. I can just PHPR check out. But I'm definitely digging what I'm seeing. I'm all for this personally. And it seems to be working well. So good job on the stuff you've done so far. Thanks again for being interested in doing this, taking it on. It's awesome. Let me pull this HPR list. ConnectionManager, HPR checkout 197. Okay, so that one is a package folder. We take that whole thing, we'll grab it, and mini MQTT was not frozen. Yeah, okay, so we don't need to do our whole root thing again. That's not a problem this time. But we do need to take that customized mini MQTT from the PR. We want to drop that right in lib. Delete the old one, because that's probably... So let's paste that. Eventually, anything that uses sockets, including WizNet, will have all the same connection method, could completely unify learn guides in Internet Simple Tests. Yeah. Although, I mean, some of the learn guides are specific to the boards, in which case I don't think that it needs to be unified. Like in the learn guide for the, Feather S2, ESP32 Feather S2, for instance, in that learn guide, it doesn't need the ESP32 SPI like either or code, I don't think, because it's targeted at the one device. Now, if you're making like a project learn guide and you want to offer both, that I'm totally in for. But the more specific device, I guess they call them product guides maybe, or just the device guides, like the main learn guide for each device or whatever. Mini MQTT, let's look at what changed actually. Will the mini MQTT, do I need to get different examples? We may need to modify the examples. Engine requirements. Huh. I didn't know you could do that. Can you do that? I've never seen that before inside requirements. Looks like it's instead of using PyPy, it's using a GitHub repo. Conf test. I don't really know what tox is. I've seen tox before show up, but I don't really know what it is. Gonna make 9x easier to use for the beginner. Copy paste examples. Let's see. I already copied this. Start with this one, see if it does. CPython? Oh, in the CPython folder. Simple tab? That's ESP. Bye. We're on the Titano right now. We might as well do that, I guess. I'm gonna take all that, drop it in ConnectionManager test. And CodePy will be see if that crashes. Fox is a tool to run your tests across many versions of Python. Okay. Manages installation of different target versions and then injects your code into those environments. Interesting. So it's like PyTest runner, but it can also kind of like automatically do different virtual IMs, different environments with different versions. Mini MQTT you can set up the same way you do requests because you have both pool and context. Okay. Okay, so I think that's probably because I don't have Adafruit.io stuff in my settings. One moment, please. Okay. Let's try that again. PyTest runner with the joy of multiple distinct Python versions. Did I change the font size? Did I make my Discord font smaller just now? Has it always been that size? Awfully small to me. Okay, so no set socket. So that's the part where we will need to change. Set socket. So that is going to be the way we did it with requests. Didn't actually do it. Copy. Let's see. So that says requests gets the pool in the SSL context. Mini MQTT I don't use very much. So socket set interface ESP. That socket ESP. So we need to figure out what set socket turned into. Sorry, this is probably super easy. I just don't use this one very much. Set socket's gone. Yeah, that's right there. ConnectionManager. So we need to pass. Okay, so we need to pass ConnectionManager to the constructor here as. Is that true? Yeah. No. We don't pass anything. It does get ConnectionManager. So we just don't do set socket, in fact, and it should take care of it. Let's take a look back here. Yeah, I think because that's not an argument. For a second, the fold here tricked me, and I thought that was an argument, but that's not actually the case. Yeah, adder info 292, but that's inside of. Okay, now I've definitely bungled this all up. MQTT start with sample for a board with Wi-Fi, then use the helpers for ESP32 SPI. It's the helpers. So we'll everything after the Wi-Fi connect. And then this will be on manager. We still do this one? Need to, right? Otherwise we don't have... It's the pool. Okay, we have to do this because we need to pass this to here. This doesn't like this. Type. I'll see. True. It feels weird you would use pool to make this, but then you turn around and still pass both to here. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Module SSL. So that's just the import. But these will not work either, I think. We should get rid of this stuff actually anyway. I don't think it's gonna work still. I don't know. I don't really know how to convert this code very well. That's one can't import either. But if we don't import that one, then we can't do this. And if we can't do this, then we can't have pool. This is the part we need. We still don't have pool. It's from spy. I'm changing the wrong file. I think we're almost there finally. Pool got imported. Creator context. These are gone, I guess. Let me put those back. Okay. See what we get there. No worries. I mean, like I said before, it's in draft. I'm definitely not expecting it to be super all the way done. That's because of board.spy, right? Well, I already have board.spy though. Huh. Yes. Why would that be in use? Is it happening twice? It is happening twice, obviously. I copy pasted both. Okay. I think I took the long way around here as well. Why is not defined? E2. Okay. Should be board spire. Will this be on the test? I hope not. I feel like I'm failing the test if it's on the test, but we'll get there. Another thing is I don't even know if I have these feeds. It did connect though. It's not crashing. I don't know if I have these feeds anymore. Let's see. On off. I think, does it do photocell? See what it does. Okay, so it's supposed to be sending photocell. But I also think that, what version do we have? I think we are having the wrong version of ESP32 Spy. Buddy, please stop. Hey, 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 stop! Able to, I think it timed out before I did that. This, I don't think this is ConnectionManager. We'll see if we keep trying to. I think this is the wrong version of ESP32 Spy. I did it too early. Yeah. And this is frozen. I'm on 829. Is that the newest one right now still? I don't know when frozen libraries got updated. Or if they did on the 8 branch. 829, that's the newest one. I don't know, how can you check the version of the library? Is that a thing? No. So we are gonna go circup install this. He's gonna put it in lib. We're gonna copy it from there. Yeah, okay, he was trying to mess with the lines on the window. Something on the window. Yeah. This. Take this and drop it in the root. If I need to, I'll get the Python version and I'll put a print statement in here so that we know for a fact 1000% that's the one we're using. Well, we'll use the Python version anyway, then I guess. Because at 70, I wish I was still as smart. This demo was being so simply done. Sure, you're plenty smart, my friend. I have a lot of experience with this type of thing, and even as you stall still, I had to kind of fumble my way through it, so it's part of how it goes, I think. Let's see. We want to go copy that again. This time the Python version, the MPY version. On mobile, but start an MQTT example on the PR. Nice. Should be enough to get started. Nice. Appreciate that. I'll take a look at that here in just a minute. At this point, I think the thread I'm digging on here, I think will affect either, even if I go get different code, will affect this too. I think we got to get to the newest Adafruit 32 spot. Now we have the problem that, oh, it's still, what? Oh, was it skipping it? Because it was already installed, wasn't it? I didn't actually read the output. Yeah, guess it pays to read the output, the terminal program, after you execute it, I guess. MQTT example. Yep, thank you, my friend. Check that one out. Let's see, we'll need this, though. But and this will be good, too, because afterwards, we are still having this weird delay. We'll be able to see if I messed it up somehow and added this delay. But I really think this is a thing with inside of here using the old version combined with the new version of mini MQTT. I actually did some work on this stuff a while ago, and so I recognize the symptom of loop blocking until it receives as something that came from this back when I was working on it. Yeah, there we go. See, this time it didn't block. So our loop right here, this finished, then we printed this, and then we do have a time.sleep 5 seconds right there. So we have 5 seconds in between each of these, but we are posting to photocell every 5 seconds a new number, and then on off, we're receiving. So if we add data here for on off, then we'll receive it the next time it calls loop right there. So that blocking behavior was a result of having old ESP32 SPI. Okay, now we're up to date though with correct ESP32 SPI, or it's not correct, it's old, it's just the current one. But what we can do is take the new PR, thank you, Justin, the new, not new PR, but the new example that's on the PR right here. I'll save my rickety one off here just in case we want to circle back to it, but probably not. I appreciate you whipping that up. That's awesome. There's that. We got pins. We'll swap over. Oops. I think we have to use board.spy here. I changed this last time thinking it should work either way. In my case, I think I actually have to, let's try it. I think I have to do board spy because of the built-in display. The built-in display will have already initialized the spy bus, and I think this will fail because the pins are in use. But that would be only applying to device with a built-in display. Go import there, and then this one just connects and then does nothing else. So let's also grab the bit down here. Oops, tabbed it again. So val feed time, let's import, bam. We'll get photocell stuff. Photocell val is 0 right before the loop. Cell feed is just the name of the feed, I think. Both of these feeds. One thing it also does not have yet is the on connect. Is that right? We will need, if we want it to do anything besides just connect, we will need to, it's called subscribe. I don't know if that's the right verb. Basically, how we can do that is we can have these callbacks for whenever we get connected, we want to do this code. Whenever we get disconnected, we want to do this code. Whenever a new message comes in, we want to do this code. And then our connected, well, all of these, I guess, we set on this when we create it. Is that right? No, not at all. Oh, okay, it's after we create it. Fair enough. There we go. All the way up to 41. MQTT is not connected to. I think I never called connect. You still have this, which did not seem to fail either. Actually, I'm pretty surprised. I thought that would fail. Maybe they have different pins. Maybe this one has a separate spy bus. Oh no, it doesn't use spy on the PyPortal though. It uses parallel, I think. Yeah, I think we're okay because this display doesn't actually use spy. You need to call connect though. Call connect, we probably want to do that after we put our callbacks, right? Try to use it too early. Just copy this stuff further up. Subscribe and unsubscribe with on message. You can use subscribe mostly. Well, name not defined. Oh, okay. We read the code we're blindly pasting in, maybe. It's using code from before it or not. There we go. All right, now we've got our 5-second loop. We're posting photocell. We are receiving on off. There, and then if we go look at photocell, see the latest one is 3. Or just keep posting. See 5 pop in here after it sends. There. Cool. All of that is working all good to me, my eye at least. ESP32 SPI, we tested requests and mini MQTT. Both seem good to me. I'll test mini MQTT on the QtPy. And then after that, I think I will circle back to that other request PR. I'll leave a comment on this one with my thoughts so far, but I mean, honestly, my thoughts so far are I'm digging what I'm seeing. To the extent that it's up to me, I'm on the full steam ahead boat basically. But I don't. It's not like a unilateral decision that I make necessarily. So let's get. So, and then this time around, though, it does. So this, and then does this work the same way before? So I think this one can just use stock. Is that right? Native networking stock. And then because we will get the modified MQTT library, we will be using ConnectionManager internally without our code. So that's kind of the main difference. In terms of the remaining code is like on the ESP side, you import and use the ConnectionManager in your user code. On the built-in networking side, you do not. You end up using it because it is in requests for mini MQTT. That makes me think though, is there some way that it could be like inside of ESP32 SPI? Like could ESP32, does that make any sense? Would it make sense for ESP32 SPI to be the thing that imports and does something with ConnectionManager? That way user code could potentially not have that difference of like user code for ESP32 SPI has to import ConnectionManager, whereas built-in doesn't. But if that import and the get context, but you wouldn't have called get context yet though, right? The SSL context. You don't do that until you actually make it, which is in user code. So there may not be a place, not really a spot where it could happen, is there, I guess. I will say that would be nice if somehow it could be set up to where the user code doesn't have that difference of importing ConnectionManager or not. Like there will always be a difference in the user code of importing ESP32 SPI versus import Wi-Fi and import SSL and import socket pool. Those will always exist as a difference, but it would be nice if we could keep it to those being the only difference. But it may not be possible. Thinking about where that get default context call usually comes from, so I don't know for sure. Most people I've talked with say that you don't need to manually disconnect after each session. It's only using once per 15 minutes. Always need a way to specify the physical pins too. Not all projects will use exact pins. Unless it's a built-in display. For example, if someone does quad feather, stack, the amount of pins left will be only a few available pins. When he does quad feather stack. Not sure I follow. I think I might have not read that at the right time, and now I forgot what I was talking about or something. Okay, well, we are here with CodePy on our feather. Yeah, and then that one I think we don't need to change, so let's try this. I will have to do my settings toml stuff again, so it's over to here. Problem here actually is I don't have have it. Then my next problem is I don't have another plug. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I have a copy of it back here. Sorry, y'all can't see this part because I'm doing settings toml stuff, so hang tight for a minute. Have it in this one. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Okay, found it. Oh. Should get like a fake network, fake set of tokens so that I could just use my settings stream. It is possible. Posted an example yesterday. It's a lot more closer. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I am in favor of that. I would say that's my biggest piece of like actual feedback in terms of the functionality. Then would be it'd be super nice if it was structured in that way where the user code that's using ESP32 SPI would not have to import ConnectionManager and do anything with it. That'd be super cool. Not E-Ink uses 7 GPIO. Yeah. Displays in general, truthfully, are usually a lot of pins, although SPI, I guess, sometimes can get it down, but seeing that with ESP32 SPI or Wi-Fi, you still have to specify. Yeah, I'm with you. As another difference, yeah, which pins you're using is totally true. Yeah, you'll always have to specify that. Yeah, even amongst ESP32 SPI, you may be using different pins than something else, and so even in that case, like on that 1/2, you could still have to change, which is a good point as well. Yeah, there's fake requests. Yeah, I've never used fake requests either. I'm not sure exactly. I think fake requests is for I think PyPortal library might use it internally. I think what it does, and I'm not positive, so don't quote me. Maybe go check into it if you're interested. I think what fake requests does, though, is it makes it to where you can cache your request results. So, like, you can issue a fake request, and if you don't have a cached copy of the response, then it will do the real request and cache the response. And then next time you do it, it will give you the cached response, but the API is the same, so that you could test your code without actually going to the network. So if you're fetching like medium-sized JSON code or something, and you don't want to wait for it to transfer every time over Wi-Fi, I think that's maybe what that's for, but I'm not 100% positive. Yeah, so I've been busy jabbering here, but this does totally work here as well. We've got our modified one. So all four kind of permutations, requests, many MQTT on each of built-in networking and ESP32 SPI, all tested out good. Including we did like posts and everything as well. So we did effectively the request simple test, which is making multiple requests, which is good to make sure that we're not locking up the sockets or anything. We do get the same behavior as before. It's good. All right. Other thing I'm going to look at here is this other request PR, which I took a look at the other day and I tested. But one thing I didn't do was look over the requested changes, because I saw Dan had some requested changes kind of after I got done looking at it, and I didn't want to merge it without even looking at them, basically. So I didn't merge it when I was looking at this the other day. What I'm going to do is open these real quick. We're just going to go through and double check that the requested changes are changed. It looks like they are, and then as long as they are, I already tested this So we're basically good to merge as long as there's nothing new, which there's not, because that's where this was the other day. Okay. I thought it was let's see here. I thought it was for faking the callback so you could specify return data and test with that instead of hammering the server. It could be. I could totally be wrong. I do not actually know for certain. I'm not even sure what gave me that impression. I think the code inside PyPortal is, I'm pretty sure inside of the PyPortal library, or portal base maybe, is the only place where I've seen anything that references it. But it's been a while. Okay. A couple of these are not actually requested changes. These were just kind of like info, essentially. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Thought that was gonna... Trying to just fold that is what I was trying to do. Dan did mark this one. Yeah, it might be easy if Dan went through and marked them all. I just didn't actually look the other day. Guess I could just look up the docs, but I'm lazy right now. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see, current implementation sends you 2 user agents. Yeah. Oh, that was like documented in as a, I didn't even know that. Documented as a comment in there. That's funny. Oh, okay, this is a test. Interesting. That is weird. Yeah, I mean, I think that one is good. New tests. Percent. Okay, because data would send as a, it's probably just doing data equals, and then that would convert it to URL encoded. So there used to only be one key value, which means there would be no separator, no ampersand. Now there's 2 values. It means it will have a separator now. Okay. Supplied, typo fixed. That's fixed here already. Oh. Static method 530. That's the old one. Is it gone now? Let's just search for supplied with 3 Ps. This is in fixed duplicate header. I'm sure this is fixed, but just want to double check. So, yeah, no triple Ps. All right, good to go. Sometimes this interface like overwhelms me. Sometimes I can't. My brain just can't interpret what I'm looking at very well. Sometimes with that red green, it depends on the changes. Sometimes it's better than others, but okay, so we're good there. So that's a change already in this one. Could put the lower version in a set. Checks membership. It's hard here too because I can't expand. We can't really see what the rest of this function is. Again, it's another one. I'm sure it's in there. It's just like So it doesn't even show up in line. I don't get GitHub sometimes. I do not understand where are the rest of the comments? Why are some of them in line but some of them aren't? I don't get it. There's Evan sandboxing. So let me catch up on the chat here. Oh, item DJ Devon, so sandboxing can come into play then. Perhaps might be better. Might be another way of using fake request. Don't know, never used it. I gotcha. Let's see if we can see this from here. It's not actually use set. Let's use set on this one. Supplied header. For supplied header, in supplied header. But does that still exist? For supplied doesn't. In not host in supply. Okay, yeah, and then I think that is a set. Is that right? I think those curly brackets make it a set. Is that true? A literal set. So if you had L equals a list of some duplicates and some not, and then you went S equals for X, could have done strings. I'll do strings in a second. X for X in L. And S is now a set, which means that it doesn't have two ones. It has only a single one. Okay. Send set of bytes. That says in send header. Oh, send header's right here. Is it? Well, but that's a function. Def send header. Send. So yeah, now we have socket B there. Used to have send as bytes, but no longer. Now it's this, which is better because of what this says. Cheaper, no runtime. That fits a bit over my head, but definitely trust Dan. Same thing. That's just 2 down, right? 568. Yeah, that's just like this one, I think, maybe. Or this one right here, I mean. Yeah. That's the same thing. Is it? 606? Is it further down? Further down. We can't see the function. It's another one where we can't see the function. So 3, I guess we'll try to find it in a function. Oh, okay, right there. Yeah, okay, so that's our HTTP. Okay, so yeah, so we have no more send as bytes on lines, 1 and 3 or whatever indexes. If we think of them as indexes 0 to 3, it's kind of weird, but that's how I think. Let's see this one. Okay, just that's the second one down, I guess. Yeah, the other one of those. Is it? No, this is a different one. Oh, okay, these were out of order. I see. So yeah, okay. So we had a comment on that one first, and then a comment on this one, even though they're actually the other way in the code. They're the same too. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And then I tested this the other day. So like ordinarily I'll test before I merge library stuff. And I did this time too, just so you all didn't see me do it because I did it the other day. Basically, this was, for anybody who's interested, this was a bug in requests where it would cause it to send a duplicate of the user agent header. So ordinarily, whenever you make a request, your client, your browser, which is the client most people are using when they make a request, your client's sending a user agent header to the server. Typically, there should just be one user agent header, which has one value, and that's it. But the old version of requests actually had a bug where in certain scenarios, it would send two user agent headers, both with user agents. And like some servers just ignore that, no problem, but other servers freak out when you do that. Would have been funnier if it was for I in range. Oh, spelling errors happen. Oh, did I mess up my spelling? Spelling errors happen to everyone. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to make your shift to board. Code comments were spelled fro instead of for. Yeah. I mean, I'm awful with spelling. I really admit straight up, I'm terrible at spelling. Let's do this one with strings. So we had hi. We could do hi upper. And we could do hello. We could do hola. We could do hey there. We have technically a duplicate, but it's upper lower. So now we can basically have the code be pretty much exactly how it was in request, which is we'd say item.lower. I think they called it header, but that's fine. So we'll say item.lower in for item in L and S. We end up with a set that only contains a single high. They're all lowercase because we put them to lowercase. We only have one high, not two. I actually just learned that syntax like less than a month ago. I learned the syntax from one of the days of Advent of Code. I never knew that you could make a set literal like this. Anytime I always wanted to make a set, I would always say s equals set like this, and then s.add. Just have as many of those as I want. So I'd be like creating multiple lines like that, but you can actually do a literal set inside of curly brackets, which feels weird, right? Makes it feel like it should be a dictionary, but it's actually a set. All right, another thing we'll do is release. So that's a, what is that? I think that's a minor bump, right? Patch, they call it, I think, not minor, actually. Because it's no new functionality, it's just a bug fix. I mean, it does function different, but it's not like you can do a thing now that you didn't used to be able to, unless you count talking to a server that doesn't like duplicate user agent headers. But I think, was it Spotify maybe? There's a certain API somebody was trying to use that was having problems with this, so that API will be happier now with this version, which is good. Let's see, 204, so fix duplicate header issue. Generate. I like these automatic ones, and then what I've been doing is sticking the old school ones above like this. And duplicated user agent headers being sent request. They aren't lower. Header names in the case sensitive. Header names are case sensitive, so let me catch up on the chat. You also make a generator if you use ... You could create a dict this way too. Yeah, if you have colons in there, I guess, to create the dictionary. Forcing all the headers to lower. So I think they're not sent as lower. I think it's just the set. Curly brackets makes it seem like a JSON list. Yeah, or a dictionary. Though there's no key values. Yep. Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like an array, but the special rule that makes it different than an array is no duplicates. Header names are case insensitive, so it shouldn't. Oh, interesting. I didn't actually know that. Force headers to lower. Yeah, that's the part I was thinking. Is it's putting them to lower and then putting them in a set and then checking from there. But I think the ones that get sent to the server are actually still original, whatever they were before. I'm not 100% positive though. And I don't want to check it right now because I actually had to bust out Wireshark in order to see those headers. I could not find a server. If anybody happens to know of one, if anybody knows of a server that allows you to look at the raw HTTP request, let me know. Because I tried Flask, I tried Simple Server with Python. I looked at Django. I'm really familiar with Django, but I don't think Django could do it either. Django would be way overkill for what I need, but I'm familiar with it, so I looked at it. I could not find a server that would let me look at the raw HTTP request. What I ended up settling on was just using a Flask server, but then running Wireshark on my PC and looking at the traffic in Wireshark. If anyone knows of a server that lets you see those raw requests, let me know, because that'd be super useful for troubleshooting and like developing on this library. Pretty sure someone was trying to use Spotify. Okay, it's a nightmare to work with because the TTL tokens for like 1 hour only. Spec says they're supposed to be case insensitive, but the parts of any system that are consuming the results downstream. Oh, it's not forcing. I don't think so. I think it's just the set. Yeah. GitHub, YouTube, Discord, Mastodon, or a breeze compared to Spotify. Yeah, no worries. Not a problem. No need to apologize. Appreciate the looking out, honestly. Like, I'm always happy for folks to point out things. If things seem odd or wrong or whatever, like, I'm always happy to have folks yell stuff out. So definitely no need ever to apologize during my stream if pointing out something that you think is wrong or needs a second look. HTTP server allows that. Allows the raw request. Oh. Yeah, so I totally did not think of using a microcontroller as a server too. I was thinking of sending the request from the microcontroller to my PC. HTTP server. How do you do that? Can you just do request.raw or something? Thank you, by the way. Python's HTTP server. It probably can. My caveat is like I couldn't figure out how to do it. I only tried for like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. But, you know, I don't know. I'm sure that's likely a me problem, not a simple HTTP server problem. But I could not find like a .raw or a, like I found a stream that like maybe if I would have read from the stream, it could have worked. I'm not sure. I don't know if I tried that part or not, but could not figure it out. In the end, Wireshark made it pretty easy though. I don't think Adafruit does HTTP requests. Raw requests could be printed as a send, perhaps. Yeah, I thought about modifying requests to print it, but then I figured like I really wanted to see it from the server side. Since requests was where the fix was at, I didn't necessarily like the idea of adding prints in requests to check the fix, even though like it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of another. It should work fine, but just felt like I should validate it from the server rather than the client. Request allows you to view raw data. I guess that's something to do with receive into. Request.raw request. Nice. Raw. Bytes. All right. Well, now I know. Knowing is half the battle. Dun-dun. I never actually watched G.I. Joe. Okay. So that's what I'll do next time. Instead of Wiresharking it, I will get 2 microcontrollers. I mean, you could probably do it from just one, although I don't want to do it from just one because that brings the socket weirdness. Who knows? Maybe that doesn't work the same. But what we'll do is we'll go 2 microcontrollers, one with the server, one with the client, and then the server will be allowed to just print the raw request, which will be actually super nice. Request.prepare. You just want the equivalent of HTTP bin.get or anything. It's not formatted in raw, but JSON. HTTP bin org.get? I'm not familiar with it. So kind of yes, but in my case, I actually don't want the JSON because specifically the thing I was looking for was a duplicated header value. And by this turning into JSON and becoming a dictionary, it kind of automatically makes it so duplicated values don't matter and don't get shown to me. Which is where the raw request it would, because I'd see both lines there. This is pretty cool though. I did not know about this, and this is cool if you are doing, like if you're building out requests on a new context or whatever, and you're wanting to see what you're sending. This is pretty cool. And it is almost what I was thinking. So yeah, I appreciate the pointer to this. But the dictionary bit will make it not work for the exact thing I was doing. If you're in it, let's see here. You do CircuitPython server. Yep, that's exactly what Michael suggested, Justin. Yep, and that's what I'll do next time is run HTTP server on the other microcontroller, and then just print from there. My server's code is full of logging debug calls that dump the raw headers in both directions. You're using with an API sometimes. Depending on the API, you can check the request with the browser. Like Firebug. Interesting. Have to somehow hook it up to where the traffic from the microcontroller goes through there too in that case. Sounds like good use of the microcontroller. Echoes debugging. Yeah, that's true actually. We could just write a script that's like an echo server that just gives you back the raw request whenever you send it. That'd be kind of handy actually. Maybe I'll whip that up. This is kind of neither here nor there, but since we're on the topic of HTTP server, we only have a few minutes left. This is something I was thinking about the other day. Do you think does anybody who's watching now, would you be interested in? Or alternatively, anybody who's watching now, do you think there are people out there, or do you know people who might be interested in a video tutorial, probably a couple of videos, maybe 3 or 4 videos, that go over kind of an introduction to web applications? Like the target audience is a person who's never made a web application before, and the goal is to introduce them to creating web applications, and in my mind, using CircuitPython HTTP server, with the idea being that knowledge is translatable out to Flask and Django and other things, even Node to an extent, like non-Python stuff. I kind of like the idea of using CircuitPython as a very, very basic introduction to web servers, web application servers specifically, HTTP servers. That's an idea I'm kicking around in my head. Because, like, there's something really nice about it running on a microcontroller, being handheld and tangible, being able to do things like tie in NeoPixel colors to your requests very, very, very easily. I think will make it a really nice platform to learn the basics, the very, very, very basics of requests and responses and HTTP servers and callbacks and things like this. Yeah, if anyone has thoughts or ideas around that, feel free to hit me up. That's kind of an idea I'm kicking around. That'd be very cool. Okay. Nice, yeah. I think I'm with you. I think that would be a nice, it's like a thing we don't have today that could serve as a very, very base level introduction to folks who have never done it before, as like a my first web app type thing. So I have to do a lot of refining in terms of like what makes sense to cover and what doesn't. How do we keep it easy enough for those folks? But I think that'd be a cool piece of content. Maybe that'll be one of my 2024 goals, is to build something out like that. Yeah, totally. Being able to do colors for posting, either different methods. Yeah, being able to send different headers and cookies, like introducing all these basic concepts that you get into in the web server world, but introducing it in a way where you don't have to have an actual VM on an internet server somewhere, right? You don't have to pay for it. You don't have hosting services or URLs, domain names. You can kind of learn the basics without doing any of that kind of stuff, which you could do on a Raspberry Pi as well, but it's even a step down even from there in terms, in my mind, because you don't have any sort of infrastructure that you need to set up exactly. You don't need to run Nginx or that kind of stuff in between. You can just Python script runs, server answers as soon as you hit it. Nice and easy. Absolutely, I've only used HTTP server once. It was like 2 years ago. Tutorial changes made recently be excellent. Heck yes, great stream. If it's not urgent, maybe I'd be able to help with that, to be honest. Yeah, I would say it's totally not urgent, and I am absolutely appreciative of any help from anybody, and I think you're obviously a very good person to help because you've done a lot of work on that library. So yeah, totally down to collaborate on that. As an experimental learner, I'd be interested in such a video tutorial. It's not an area I've explored yet. Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think we'll keep kicking it around the old noodle and figure out kind of what makes sense to include and where a good set of boundaries are, so that we don't make it super duper long. But yeah, kick it around and try to get something going. Yeah, Michael, and if you want to help me out on that, I definitely appreciate that. We can link up at some point and kick some ideas around, do some more brainstorming. Most of my scripts have debug boolean, one of which the full API gets posted. Yeah, I do. I like that as well. Debug equals true or whatever. Debug equals true or false. And you can just have like if debug, bunch of stuff, add print statements everywhere. I structure my code a lot like that as well. Gosh, Nicholas worth pass on the first. Not familiar, I don't think. Niklaus. Not familiar with them, I don't think. Unfortunate though. Let's see, most of my scripts. Okay, yeah. Print full API. Okay, so we got this merged. We did release. Did I actually click release on this one, or did I get busy chatting? Make sure I actually released here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I am going to head out for now. If folks are interested, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. So, yeah, you can convert that to your time zone. But 10 a.m. Central Time on Saturday, I will be back over on my own channel, streaming some more CircuitPython stuff. I don't know for sure what I'm going to work on tomorrow morning. So if you want to find out, you can tune in. I will be back next week as well for Deep Dive. So at 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So same time as today's stream, about 2 hours ago is when I started, and I'll be back at that same time next Friday. I think maybe Scott will be back after that. I'm not sure. I haven't actually talked to him about the weeks after that. I just know, though, this week and next week, I'm definitely here. He might be back after that, or I might talk to him that next week afterwards and find out that maybe not, but we'll see. But definitely next week I'll be here. Definitely tomorrow morning I'll be here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Again, huge hug, huge thanks to Justin for all this work on requests and the connection manager. I think this is really, really cool stuff. Really appreciate you taking this stuff on. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everyone in the chat who helped me out with different stuff. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good night, a good rest of your weekend and all that stuff. If I don't see you around tomorrow, then I'll see you later. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and have a good one.